Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome back to this episode of the Haunted Cafe podcast.
Yes.
We are on episode 9.
9.
And I don't know if you've been following my TikToks lately, but today we are talking about something somewhat different this time. You know, compared to like the myths, the legends, the UFOs, and all that stuff.
I'll give you guys a hint. Muriel!
Today, we are going to be talking about Courage the Cowardly Dog legends. Not really legends, but it's just like what they were, what supposedly they're based off of.
Yep. Supposedly, well, I mean, go ahead. Because I brought this up to her because I had randomly seen this on a TikTok and I was like, is that true? And we did some research and it's about 15% true.
Yeah, basically.
15% true.
Well, before we get too much into it, we're going to talk about our tea of the evening. I made chamomile tea for us.
Chamomile.
Yeah, we both just ate some spicy stuff.
Yes, and chamomile tea helps with indigestion, so.
Yeah, so if you have GERDs or acid reflux or whatever you want to call it.
You got the girls.
Yeah, try drinking some chamomile. Sorry.
A little ASMR. I usually talk during the ASMR. I'm not supposed to do that.
You do, every time. There we go.
Yeah!
Yeah, so for anybody that might join us, we don't have the chat up because your phone's dead and
Yes, my phone has died.
I'm recording on this phone, so we don't have a phone to talk to you, but we see you. Hi.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's try our chamomile tea.
It's super hot still.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was hot. Heat is hot.
One thing I've always tried to imitate when I was younger was a Courage the Cowardly Dog laugh. Like, I could do, like, the one where it goes, like, I think that's one of them.
It's been so long. Where he's, like, panicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen that. But, yes. We're going to
hurts my chest.
stop drinking it, Alan.
Yes, it's good. This tea tastes good.
Alright, so we're going to talk about, basically, a meme. I guess that's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really it wasn't a meme, it was a TikTok. There's a difference. A meme is just a photo.
It was a picture.
Well, I mean, memes are usually funny. It wasn't really funny.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a picture with some text. But,
it's a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah. But basically, it had a picture of the Cowardly Dog house. It had a regular house, basically in the middle of like a desert. And then it had the text that said something along the lines of like, this Courage the Cowardly Dog is based off of a true story of a couple that disappeared, and the only thing that was left was their dog.
From the middle of nowhere!
Yeah, they were located in the middle of nowhere, New Mexico, and I was like, if this is a true story, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So I did like a crap ton of research, and like Alan said, it's basically only like 15% true.
Yep.
So we're gonna get into the story about what is true, what's not true, and
I just hope that as we're talking about this outside our window, we don't hear the slab. Return the slab.
Honestly,
let me know if you remember that episode, because that episode freaked me out when I was a kid.
I don't remember any of the episodes. I remember like bits and pieces. I meant to do. There might be
hair in my mouth.
Oh, I was gonna say there might be pieces of the leaves.
No. Oh, yeah, there is, but I'm not.
All right. So I figured I'd start off the podcast talking about the TV show itself. Just in case people don't know exactly what the show is, or if they've never heard about it.
If you don't have the prompt from the very beginning of every episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog, I'm gonna be severely disappointed.
I have it.
You do? Okay, cool.
I have it.
All right, I was gonna say I'll be severely disappointed. That would be a missed opportunity.
The opening title sequence goes like this.
Can I read it? Because I like the voice.
Sure.
I get to read something this time, guys.
It's the second paragraph. Here.
Okay, that's the one. We interrupt or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. We interrupt this program to bring to you Courage the Cowardly Dog Show, starring Courage the Cowardly Dog. Abandoned as a pup, he was found by Muriel Bag, who lived in the middle of nowhere with her husband Eustace Bag. But creepy stuff happens in nowhere. It's up to Courage to save his new home.
Yeah, that was great.
Nice.
That's basically how the intro of the show went. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure both of us have watched this show when we were younger.
I'm sure any 90s kid has watched this when they were younger on Cartoon Network.
I know I've seen a few episodes, but just in case listeners haven't, I wanted to go into a little bit of what the show's about. So the show is based around 3 characters. There's Courage, a pink dog who's a very good boy, yet extremely easily frightened. Which...
The things I do for love!
Yeah.
I'll be quoting a lot of Courage. Yeah, he does. I'll be quoting a lot of Courage this entire episode, because I love that show.
Yep. And, like, as the title sequence progressed, he was abandoned as a puppy when his parents were forced into outer space by a crazy vet. So just to, like, that's pretty much how this show goes. Already I can see how this is traumatizing, but soon after he was found in an alley by Muriel, a sweet older Scottish lady. She decided to bring him to their home in the middle of nowhere. Muriel had a husband named Eustace. Is that how you say
Eustace.
it? Yeah, Eustace.
Because useless Eustace. That's what it was like. One of the things he hated when he was younger, because that's what everyone would call him.
Oh,
he got like he gets like emotionally like
scarred.
Yeah, scarred every time somebody says that, and he gets all crying and upset.
Oh. He's a grumpy, selfish, and greedy old man who mistreats Courage all the time because he's jealous of him.
Stupid dog, you made me look bad.
That's what I said. And even refers to him as stupid dog, which is like literally all he calls him.
Yeah.
Their house is a two-floor isolated farmhouse in what looks like a desert in the middle of Kansas, which isn't an actual place.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem too bad, right? Well, that's not all of it. Courage and his owners frequently encounter monsters, demons, aliens, mad scientists,
snowmen,
zombies, vampires, and most of the creatures they face are hostile. Like, they're out to either kill the owners or Courage himself.
Well, one episode I would always remember is the Foot family. Or I forget what the actual name of it was called, but they were like Italian mobsters. Man, see, this is what you gotta do, dog. Man, like, it was funny.
Some only appear to be mean when in fact they are actually in distress and end up being nice to them. Which, like I said, it's been a while since I've seen the episodes, so I don't remember. I remember.
Yeah, there was a lot of the episodes where they were all buddy at the very end of it.
Yep.
So.
And usually the task of protecting Muriel and Eustace mostly falls on Courage. He fights off most of the creatures by himself without the 2 owners even knowing anything is going on. Because I know a lot of episodes, like, Muriel will be in the kitchen, like, cooking and stuff like that, just minding her own business. And, yeah.
Courage, would you stop that racket in the back, please? I'm trying to cook your dinner. Sorry.
No, you're fine. And even though he may be considered a cowardly doggo, he's definitely not.
No, literally, he fights off every single freaking one of them, even though if he's like, as soon as Muriel or Eustace is in any kind of danger, he just springs into action.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that most of, like, the episodes go back to normal. Yeah. Like, everything just, like, goes back. But, yeah, so that's basically what Courage is about.
There are some episodes where it doesn't go back to normal though. Like there'll be a few times when they're just left that way and the episode just ends and he's just like, ooh. There's nothing. He's like, oh well, he doesn't even care.
Yep. So yeah. So that's basically the point of Courage. Like I said, the reason why I started this was because I saw that meme and like I'm gonna call it that, but we both grew up on Courage and so I just wanted to start off this podcast by talking about what made me do the episode. There was a meme, you could call it saying, the middle of nowhere is an actual place located in New Mexico. The elderly couple who own the house with their dog repeatedly witnessed many strange incidents. They once reported seeing a creature they identified as a skinwalker. After reporting what they saw, the family disappeared under strange circumstances. Only the dog was found. Yeah, so that's actually what the photo said.
No, well, does it ever say if the dog was found alive or was he found dead?
It just said found.
Huh.
Which, I mean, there were, like, other stories about, like, Courage, all of those people and stuff just being made up in Courage's head.
I mean,
I don't
yeah,
know.
the deal with the abandonment. You never know.
It also shows a house by itself, like out in the middle of nowhere with the cartoon house underneath. When I first read this, I was like, okay, if that's true, it's absolutely terrifying. Like that they actually did a kids television show on
based on a
real
true
life.
story.
Yeah. So as I was doing research, I realized that the photo couldn't be more wrong. At least the biggest parts of the story are wrong.
Yeah, like I said, it's 15% right.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that I personally could not find if middle of nowhere New Mexico even exists. I couldn't find it. I tried searching it up on Google Earth, just regular Google Maps.
It's too close to Area 51.
There is a RV like campground kind of thing in New Mexico called the middle of nowhere, but it's just an RV park. It's not really like an actual place. And as far as I can tell, as far as I can tell, I cannot find one, but if anyone else does find one, please let me know.
Yeah, let us know, because we're curious.
Yeah, because I couldn't find it. The next thing I wanted to go over is the house in the photo. Supposedly, there was a location where David Parker Ray, a.k.a. the Toy Box Killer, was said to have brought those victims. Like, the house was actually supposedly where he kept those victims.
Now, is there a lot of info on that, or is it just...
Heck yeah.
Do you think that would be a whole other episode, or did you go through it here?
I basically went over it here, because he was a serial killer. And,
he Wayne Gacy this mofo.
Yeah. I really didn't want to talk too much about serial killers on this.
Yeah.
Just because...
Yeah, don't talk during the ASMR.
ASMR. But, yeah, I really didn't want to talk too much about the serial killer aspect of this, because there's so many podcasts.
Yeah.
There's so many podcasts based on true crimes. I just wanted to kind of, like, stay away from that if I could.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, but I did want to talk about David Parker Ray on this, because he actually did pop up a couple times, because he committed a bunch of murders in Elephant Butte, which is in New Mexico. I think it's only like an hour away from El Paso, which is where our story takes place. But he did it, I think, in like the 80s or something like that. Like, he did it later on.
Yeah.
So, his tales pop up, but I don't see any correlation to, like, our story. So, like, the house that was in that picture, supposedly, he kept 2 victims there. But nothing I have seen suggests that this is true. For one thing, David Parker Ray's 60 possible victims were never found.
60? Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nothing compared to most serial killers, but still.
Yeah.
Never found?
I think John Wayne Gacy had around 60. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
He could have had a lot more. I know he had a lot. Yeah, they were never found. None of the bodies.
Wow.
Also, he was known as the Toy Box Killer for a reason. I'm not entirely sure if all the murders occurred in the trailer, but he had, like, I was telling you about it, he had this trailer in his backyard where he would, like, have, like, a gynecologist chair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he would, like, tie women up to it. It's just really bad. But supposedly all
He's screwed up in the mind.
Yeah, but basically all of that stuff happened there. I never found any kind of evidence that,
Just reposition the camera a little bit.
Okay.
It was bothering me. I kept looking at it. I'm like, it needs to be moved over.
But yeah, I never found any kind of, like, evidence that he took bodies to some other place. So, whether that's true or not, I don't know.
The world may never know.
Yeah, so with that being said, what I want to talk about is actually a true case, a true disappearance. And I spent, like, so much time researching on it because it boggled my mind. Now, this, I believe, is more so the base of Courage the Cowardly Dog. The story I'd like to talk about is the disappearances of William and Margaret Patterson. They lived at 3000 Piedmont Drive in El Paso, Texas, which I think it's still around. So when I search that address in Google Maps, it does come up with a place. I'm just not sure if it's theirs. They were both known to be very kind people, although a little secretive. They were generally well liked among their neighbors. They both owned Patterson Photo Supply, which is like a photography place. And William owned a boat, a Cadillac, stock in a boat company and property in Guamas, Mexico.
Huh.
All in all, they seemed like they had a lot going for them. Like, no reason to be distressed, no reason to up and run off.
Yeah.
So, they seemed like they were a happy couple. A few nights before their disappearance, the Pattersons had friends over. They were the Wards. Their last name. Yeah, I think it was Cecil Ward and somebody else, the wife.
Guy named Cecil would get involved.
Yeah, he seems to be a good guy though.
Oh, okay.
They were owners of the Ward Motor Clinic.
Huh.
I can't read my writing, but that's what we're gonna go with. They had dinner. They had dinner with the Pattersons, and then Cecil Ward helped William in the garage.
And he was never seen again.
And they applied acrylic to the boat. Later on, when the Wards talked to the police, they confirmed that neither of the couple had mentioned any plans to travel, in the weeks ahead. In fact, Cecil and William had made plans for later that week, so they weren't planning on going anywhere.
Well, they probably were, and they probably just didn't want anybody to know about it. It could be a possibility.
Maybe. Yeah.
Like, let's just tell them that we have something planned next week so they don't get too suspicious and they don't worry about us.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
Well, no, Cecil Ward and William Patterson were going to go hang out somewhere.
Wow.
So, he was going with, the two husbands or whatever were going to go do something. On the morning of March 6, 1957, a few days after that dinner that I talked about, Cecil Ward opened his business and was met with a strange sight. It was Doyle Kirkland with William Patterson's Cadillac. I can't talk. Doyle Kirkland managed Duffy's photo service. And
there's a lot of weird freaking names being tossed around.
Yeah. And even though the two businesses were competitors, Doyle and William were close friends. So William owned Patterson photo supply, and then Kirkland Doyle owned Duffy's photo service. Basically, they were competitors, yet they were best friends. Not best friends, but they were close friends.
Yeah.
But it's still really suspicious as to why does Doyle have William's car?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Another thing too, if you guys are probably gonna hear me on the mic, but to those of you who are watching me on Twitch, if I yawn a lot, it's because chamomile is also supposed to put you to sleep. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm gonna sleep good tonight.
I was gonna say I kind of did that on purpose, just because it's 9 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, 9:30 something.
So when Ward asked why Kirkland I think it's either Kirkland Doyle or Doyle Kirkland. Yeah, Doyle Kirkland. I always got them two mixed up. But when Ward asked why he had the Patterson car, Kirkland brushed him off. Basically, get this parts fixed, which that's sus.
Yeah, that's a little suspicious.
He told Ward that he and William had worked on a boat the night before, and that the Pattersons were going on a little vacation. Kirkland then asked Ward to fix some things on the Cadillac, which is it's perfectly reasonable that, not everybody gets told, oh, we're going on a vacation.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they were working on the boat again the night before.
Yeah.
Because first it was Cecil Ward and William working on the boat. Then a couple days later, now it's Kirkland and Ward and Patterson working on the boat.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the boat? But
a
no,
lot. It's in the middle of nowhere where there's no ocean and it keeps dry rotting from the weather.
Yeah. But no, it's just it just seems weird that he has that excuse, oh, we were working on the boat and now I have his car.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure William was very proud of that Cadillac, and it's just the way that people describe him later on, I don't understand why he has the car. It could be really a simple explanation, but so all of that was just really concerning to Cecil, and he knew that William would have said something about them going on a trip. I think it was also the fact that Doyle had the car and not William. Either way, it rose enough suspicion for Cecil to call the police. So, like I said, something had to be going on.
Yeah.
When they arrived at the Patterson house, oh, what a sight they saw. And now, we're going to take a quick ad break.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yep. How's it going, everybody? This advertisement is for Budget Survivor, a YouTube channel that I own where I test out camping gear, survival gear, camping foods, survival foods. It's pretty much anything that has to do with the outdoors on a budget. So if you want to check that out, I recently put up a video about me trying Mountain House dehydrated lasagna, which was absolutely amazing. And I also did, I do a lot of coffee ones on there right now. But yeah, if you guys want to go check that out, Budget Survivor on YouTube, and give me a subscribe. And yeah. Thanks for listening.
Alright guys, now we're back. So what exactly did they find in the Patterson house? Yeah. They found...
Lions, tigers, and bear, oh my.
Oh my.
I think that's how it goes.
Yeah, it is. They found the house completely abandoned, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Dishes were still in the sink. Piles of expensive clothing, including a fur coat, which that's actually really expensive.
Especially back in the day.
Yeah, had been left at the dry cleaners. Yeah, no one came to pick it up. They even had clothes laid out on the bed as if they were going to put them on later. There was even a thing where it was like they had all these clothes at the dry cleaners, but they didn't tell them to like store it or anything. You know, like save it for later when they came back. Yeah. So a lot of the articles describe the house as this. The house was devoid of life except for Margaret's beloved pet cat, Tommy. Yeah, that made me sad.
Yeah, that's sad.
None of the utilities had been disconnected. Mail was still to be delivered on schedule, which was strange because if they were planning on a vacation, all of these things would have been stopped.
Yeah.
You know, because who wants to pay for their utilities if they're not going to be there? Yeah. Cecil Ward fully cooperated with the police. He told them everything about the couple he knew, even an event that occurred a month earlier when William had gotten drunk in Juarez, New Mexico, and started a fight with a waiter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That waiter came back for vengeance, man.
What's worse, it turned out that he was having dinner with his mistress, a 20-year-old,
wow.
Estefana Aromorphin. I'm really bad at names, so if I mess
the wife
it up,
did it and vanished.
That's actually a theory, so...
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So at the time of their disappearance, William was 52 and Margaret was 42. And I'm like... That's a 10-year difference. And I'm not entirely sure if her age is accurate, Margaret, because she wouldn't tell anybody her birth date.
Yeah.
Like, not at all.
Well, that's like, that's typical.
And I was like, that's not really that strange, because, like, back then it was all vanity. So, you know, if you're going to tell somebody your birthday, you know, you can't lie about your age afterward.
How old are you, man? I'm 24. You have a cane. I'm 24.
But yeah, so, William had a little mistress.
Wow.
Yeah.
Willie spreading his willy. I don't know.
Okay. Obviously, this made police question the Pattersons' lifestyle even more. Clearly, it wasn't all it was made up to be. Yeah. I'm not sure if Margaret knew anything about William's mistress, but both sides of the couple were extremely tight-lipped, like I said. They both really would not talk about their childhood, except to say that they had bad childhoods. Like, both of them said that it was rough. William had moved from Chicago, where he had worked as a carnival barker, which is basically a person that tries to attract patrons to games. Yeah. So, you know, like the step right up.
Yeah. Come on, come on!
Yeah, he used to do that. Yeah. And that'll come back somewhat come back later. Margaret's family was strongly against their marriage from the start and even tried to make her choose between them and William. So she had kind of a separated family. So I don't even, you know, when she did disappear, I don't know how long it took before they knew that she was gone. Yeah, I even said, like, speculated. Sorry, it was like a weird pause. It was like... Margaret was also extremely tight-lipped about how the couple had met, how long they had been married or together, and she was even tight-lipped about her birthday, unless that was some kind of, like, vanity or age thing, but just the fact that she wouldn't really talk about, like, how they met, or, like, you know, because, you know, everybody loves talking about their love story, like how we met and stuff, but we'll talk about that later.
let's just say a very specific social media app was involved.
Yeah. But William's father, however, was not surprised by their disappearance at all. He even said during his testimony in court of inquiry, which is basically a group of people that are officially appointed to investigate a serious accident, to see if it was really like an accident or if it was So Luther, William's father, said that he expected them to disappear one day because William had a free spirit and the heart of a carny. He even said that William had disappeared before.
Huh.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, like I don't know how like
Why are you breaking stuff?
I did it on accident. I don't know how much we can like trust William's father.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know what kind of childhood he had, but yeah. So the mistress Estefana.
Estefan?
I don't know. It's Estefana. Estefana.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
She was quoted as saying that William mentioned having to disappear soon and to do it quickly. She later took that statement back, saying that it was false. Either she never said it or it was untrue. But
you just said it.
I don't know,
Yeah.
All that pillow talk.
Yeah.
Stuff can slip.
Oh yeah, obviously.
On March 15th, 1957, so 10 days later, after their disappearance, Herbert Roth, the Patterson's accountant, received a telegram.
And Herbert the pervert.
It was from Western Union office in Dallas, which is 11 hours away from El Paso. And it was from supposedly William Patterson. I'm not sure if Doyle or anyone in El Paso would have traveled that far to send a message, but it will soon be known that the message was called in over the phone. So, there's no like handwritten paper that existed, so they couldn't even tell if that was William calling over the phone.
Yeah, because they didn't have caller ID back then, so.
Yeah, and
I don't even know if they could track people's phone numbers back then. I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't think so. They know that the phone call came from near. Oh, well, they must have, because they know that the phone call came from the Love Field Airport, which is in Dallas.
Yeah.
The sender was listed as W.H. Patterson, which was weird considering that William's middle name was Durrell, so it would have been W.H.D. or sorry, W.D.P. Messed up. So what exactly did the telegram say? It instructed Roth, the accountant, to act as a business manager for the Patterson's photo supply company. Not too strange. It also instructed Roth to sell a mobile home that was owned by the Pattersons. The proceeds were supposed to be used to supply the store, like help it out. Also, Roth was to rent out the Patterson home for at least 9 months. Which I gotta jump to this book.
Notebook 2.
Yeah. Which to me is a little strange. I have a theory as to why they wanted someone to rent out the space, but I'll try to jump back to that, like probably towards the end. One last thing the telegram said was to hire a new store manager to replace William. A name was given. You know who it could be? Doyle Kirkland.
Huh.
The guy that had...
Isn't that convenient?
The guy that had William's Cadillac.
Yeah. That is convenient.
Yep. And he's also technically his competitor. He had his car. He was there the night before, and he's his competitor.
He did it.
I don't know. But even though the telegram and surrounding evidence pointed very harshly to Doyle Kirkland, he actually didn't stay around El Paso too long and moved away in the 1960s.
I wonder why.
And the police lost track of him. So it's like, if he did, like speculation here, if he did kill them, he didn't really get much. He was the manager of the store, but it wasn't like he ended up taking the money or anything like that. Yeah. So, not sure on that one, but in the years after, many reports of seeing the couple surfaced. Sheriff Bob Bailey tracked down a few hotel workers in Valley de Bravo. Yeah, can't talk. And showed them photos of the couple. The few workers claimed to have seen them, but there was no record of their stay, most likely meaning that they changed their names. On March 27th, 1964, 7 years later, the Pattersons were officially declared dead.
Oh, wow.
To me, 7 years doesn't really seem like a lot of time to just yeah, they must be dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They probably just gave up. They were like, the case is cold at this point. Let's just call them dead because they were old to begin with. That's pretty much what this. That's what happened. Like they're old. They'll just call them dead.
Older.
I mean, tired. Yeah.
Older. They're
yeah,
not
older.
Because 50 is not old.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not.
People only really lived to 60 back in the day, so I don't know how far long ago it was 60, but you never know. My grandfather passed away, I believe, at 60 something. So.
Yeah, I'm on it too now. Now the case went cold for 20 years. In 1984, a man named Ronaldo Nengore, came forward. He had information. He said that he had been the caretaker for the Patterson home and confessed to homicide detective Freddie Bonilla that he had found blood in the garage and also a piece of human scalp on the propeller of the Patterson's boat shortly after the couple disappeared.
Huh.
So literally, days after, he found a human, piece of a scalp on the propeller, which is sharp.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, they kill sharks, they kill seals, fish, everything.
So if there was some kind of, struggle there, and either somebody pushed somebody, and they fell into that propeller, that's definitely a cause of incident.
That explains why he had the Cadillac and then he bought the business.
Ronaldo admitted to having cleaned up the mess.
Accomplice.
Also, Ronaldo claimed to see one of Patterson's associates taking bloody sheets out of the home and tossing them into the trunk of a car. But, I can't recall who that person was. Now this is 20 years later, so who knows?
Still,
I don't
you
know
don't forget that.
Yeah, you don't forget, unless he just doesn't know the guy.
Yeah, maybe.
He doesn't know who it is, so he can't be like, oh yeah, that's so-and-so.
Yeah.
So when asked why he waited so long to come forward, Ronaldo said that he wasn't a documented immigrant back in 1957. So that explains, honestly.
If he would have went there, he would have been like, well, you're just freaking lying at this point. You're going to jail.
He was scared of deportation.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't want to get sent back to, I didn't see where he came from.
Yeah.
But, and also maybe being scared of being convicted.
Yeah, that's
Because, you willingly clean this up?
Uh-huh.
I mean, obviously, he didn't want to there's definitely a lot of pressing things for him that it's I see his point of view. Yeah. 2 years after he told his story, he passed away in a car accident. So any
quote unquote car accident.
Yeah. So any other information that he could have given is unavailable now.
There's a lot of coincidence going on around here.
Yeah. So there are many theories about why they disappeared or how they disappeared. We're going to go through each one. Probably the most popular theory is that William and Margaret were spies. Some people claim to have seen William conduct suspicious activity near Fort Bliss, which is a U.S. Army post about 20 minutes away from the modern-day Piedmont Drive, which where they lived.
Yeah.
Back in the 1950s, I think it was towards the Cold War.
Oh, okay.
So there were fears of Russians, and it was also during the Cuban Missile Crisis, around that too.
Yeah.
So in a 2005 interview with the El Paso Times, County Sheriff Leo Samnigo said, the what?
Looks like it's a Samaniego.
Samaniego? I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not really good at pronunciation, so. The way they got up and just walked away and left everything behind, the Russians, or whoever sent them, probably told them to drop everything and go back. Some people said that they saw William take photos of Fort Bliss and the military shipments on the trains that came there. So my thing is like, at the time that I was researching this, I didn't really understand why he would just like pick Russians like out of a hat. Like, why would Russians send them to a random base in Texas? But that's when like I was explained to that like the Cold War was coming around, and we were fighting the Russians.
Yeah.
So like not just the Russians, but like Korea, Russians, and like stuff like that. So it made more sense to me why he was picking that. But and I wasn't entirely sure like what would they be doing at that base. Like, I understand it is an army base.
Yeah.
But what like specifically about this base made people like need to be wary about it?
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, it is still a base. You know, it is still an army base. But and they also did own a photography business, so he could have just
that's a good cover up, honestly.
Yeah, it is, honestly.
I mean, it is. You own a photography business. If anyone asks you why you're taking pictures of the base, it's for my business. That's like an excellent cover up.
It is. I didn't think about that, but yeah. So theory 2 is that one killed the other and then fled. To me, this stems from the obvious fact that William had a mistress. Mm-hmm. Like, either Margaret got pissed off and you know, hit him with something or pushed him, and he
or they both could have been spies, and then they both found out, and it would turn into a Mr. and Mrs. Smith situation. They started killing each other.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they both knew that they were spies.
I'm talking about like one was a spy for the other, while this one was a spy for that, and they were sent to spy on each other, but they didn't realize that, and that's how they met. That's why she didn't want to bring it up. That's why she didn't want to bring up how they met, because she doesn't want to tell the truth that she was also a spy.
Unless they weren't even a couple.
Yeah, and they were just put there.
That's why they were just so freely like he was having an affair or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, but with all that aside, I'm not sure if Margaret knew about the other woman, but it doesn't sound like Will was really being all that secretive about it. Because like even his best friend was like nonchalant. Oh yeah, you know, like he got into a fight while he was smooching around with his 20-year-old girlfriend. Yeah. Like, you know, and maybe Margaret was upset at Will for cheating and murdered him. You know, reports claim that Margaret was like a heavy drinker, and I'm wondering if maybe that was, you know, the reason why.
Yeah.
And I'm also wondering if maybe he got tired of her and killed her.
Maybe.
You know, like, he already has an affair with somebody. And now, as far as I know, he didn't, like, after he disappeared, he didn't go to the mistress, so it's not like they, like, met up later on. Yeah. At least not that I know of. It's only his initials in the telegram that came back, so it's very possible that one killed their partner in the garage and then ran. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if they cleaned up all of it and just happened to miss that scout.
In a hurry.
Yeah, and then the friend, or not the friend, the caretaker.
Which could have also been a whole part of it. Like, he knew what was going on.
He could have had a lot more to do with it. Yeah. On the night of the disappearance, a neighbor named Jerry Cash came to the house. She's quoted in the El Paso Times of March 2013. So actually not really that long ago. No. She's quoted as saying, "I took some cookies to Miss Patterson, and she seemed very upset. It was the only time I had talked to her. The couple tended to keep to themselves. The husband seemed unhappy that I was in the house, and I left soon after leaving the cookies with her." My opinion is that something was going on, like they were arguing or whatever, and she happened to like interrupt. Yeah. Yeah, and who knows if maybe they were arguing about the mistress, or if they were in the middle of escaping, like when she stopped by.
That could have been it too.
Yeah.
Pushing her away, like, oh, you need to leave.
Yeah. I mean, they were trying to keep up, appearances, obviously, and then she just happened to step in. Mm-hmm. Theory three is people believe that both the couple experienced foul play at the hands of someone else. Kirkland Doyle. Or Doyle Kirkland, whatever his name is. Yeah. That's, like, I'm definitely not saying it was his fault, because, you know,
the world may never know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
But, It's possible, because why did he have their car?
And why was he so nonchalant about it?
And also, if because like I'm assuming that was the Patterson's only car, because there's no other car mentioned.
Yeah. So where did they go?
How did they leave? And he still had their car.
Yeah.
You know.
And I don't think any buses are running through nowhere. So.
I mean, there probably are, but still, I don't. You know, that's not really a non-suspicious way of leaving. Like somebody would have seen him get on the bus.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. The reason why people suggest this is the only life form left at the house. Margaret was dedicated to her cat, Tommy. She idolized him. The cat went everywhere with them. It was pampered and spoiled with the very best food, toys, etc. So it amazes people that she would actually just leave without him. To a lot of people who studied the case, it's a strong sign of foul play.
Yeah.
Because she was dedicated. Like, I know how we are with our cats.
Yeah.
You know. And of course, with the possibility of foul play, many people believe that the Patterson house is haunted. One paranormal investigator went into the house with a realtor to see if they could pick up anything. They brought an EVP recorder, which is the electronic voice phenomena recorder, and captured what they claimed to be a voice talking that wasn't anyone's there, and also a woman screaming that wasn't audible when they did the walkthrough. People trying to investigate now, and so often that it actually disturbed the neighbors and worse, the people who were living in the house. So, like, I don't know if they were, like, breaking in when the people weren't home, which is just messed up.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Like,
you don't do that. Like,
no.
I don't care how obsessed you are with the paranormal. Don't do illegal shit. Just don't.
Don't bring it into somebody's house.
Yeah, like, come on, use common friggin' sense. I want to have proof. There are 50 people that have proof. You are not special.
Well, no, and, like, the thing is, the people that lived in the house have no reports of paranormal activity. Like, none. The only paranormal activity that I could really find, I didn't go too deep into it, but the only paranormal activity I could find is this one person that went through with a realtor. So, I'm not saying that they don't have credible evidence, but there's not a whole lot of evidence.
Yeah.
So, just don't go through people's houses.
Yeah, don't do that.
I don't even know if the 3000 Piedmont Drive now is even the same house.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. And then my final thoughts is, like, this case blows my mind. Like, it started out with us just looking at a picture, and then I went down this rabbit hole of, like, oh, maybe this one did this, and then, this one murdered that one, and it just blew my mind. I can't really, honestly, like, say whether or not Courage was based off of this story. Like,
I mean, it might have been twisted, like, middle of nowhere might have been a thing, and I think what the whole was they did use those two as a thing and all the weird stuff that was supposedly being reported. I feel like the only reason why they call it Courage the Cowardly Dog and not Courage the Cowardly Cat is because cats are already no, the cats are already pretty cowardly as it is. Like, you go somewhere, if they're not used to it, they will scatter. Dogs are supposed to be like the defenders. Yeah. So, like, the fact that he was a coward or he was afraid of everything made the wordplay a lot better roll off the tongue. But better than, it's like Courage the Cowardly Dog versus Courage the Cowardly Cat. Like, it just, the dog sounds...
They both work.
But the dog one sounds more like what's Cowardly Dog? You know?
But I just don't... I don't know if they were the actual reason.
Yeah,
because with the whole skinwalker thing, I couldn't find anything that these guys were suffering from anything like that. Mm-hmm. And they weren't in the middle of nowhere. They were in a regular, like, neighborhood. They had neighbors that were close. So it's not like... It's very different. Yeah. And then with the case itself, I can't really tell what happened to them. Like,
didn't you say a while ago that the place was close to Roswell too?
It's in Texas. It's in Texas. So it's not crazy close.
Oh, okay.
Because Roswell's in New Mexico. So I mean, it's like right across the border.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because if it was close to Roswell, it could have also been another thing that happened.
Yeah. I mean, there were people that said that, like, there were, like, UFO
that's why I was asking,
parts with it, but I couldn't really find anything on that. I just don't, I can't say for sure what happened to these guys. Because there are definitely everything has a possibility.
Yeah.
Like, there's a possibility that their friend killed them. There's a possibility that one of them killed each other.
I mean, it could have all been just one sequential story, just broken into pieces for excitement.
Yeah, and then there could have been an unknown person that's in there, and we'll never know. Yeah. What if Reginald, their caretaker, killed them?
Yeah, it's always the butler.
He didn't get anything.
Reginald.
That's the thing. No one got any of their money.
Maybe with him being the caretaker, he got tired of their arguing and her being drunk and stuff like that, and them constantly fighting. And he was like, "Look, I mean, I know y'all are paying me, but y'all are getting old, and it needs to stop, and I'm gonna put a stop to it."
Yeah, I don't know.
So, anything's a possibility at this point. So.
Yeah. Well. I'm going to see if we can see a chat.
Yeah, see if anybody, because we do have one viewer. So, hi viewer, if you're watching this. Show chat.
There we go.
Do we have a chat?
Yeah, we got it. Oh.
I know, it says welcome to the Haunted Cafe podcast chat. Hi.
Well, so that's basically it for this episode. I was just really interested in it. It's different than what we're used to.
Yeah. It's always good to have, variation.
Variety.
That's what people call it.
Yeah. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys want more of mysterious disappearances.
Yeah.
I already know of one that I really want to talk about. It's the Taylor Granger one. Long story short, he started having dreams that aliens were going to come and take him, and he ends up disappearing.
Oh, I remember. Yeah,
I'm going to talk a lot more about it, but that's just a really short story. But, yeah.
Interesting.
That's it.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yep.
Thanks so much for listening.
Yeah, if you liked it, make sure you let us know. Or if you can. I still don't know if you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure you follow on Spotify.
Yes.
You subscribe on YouTube, like on YouTube.
Follow us on Twitch.
Yeah, do I'm everywhere. So
every social media platform.
Yeah. So if you type in the Haunted Cafe podcast, I'm gonna show up probably somewhere. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Just like I always say, look for the little circle with the ghosties and the coffee mugs.
Yep. All right. We'll see you guys.
See you guys. Oh, all right. Well, that was another successful podcast.
Did you find it interesting?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. A lot more went into it than I thought would go into it. That's for sure. That was it's crazy. Like I said, it's probably literally it's all of it. It's all of it combined. Everyone had a part in the entire thing.
Probably.
It was all involved.
Do you think that they're still alive?
No, I don't think they're alive anymore.
No. Well, no, I mean not now, but I mean do you think that they're still alive after they disappeared?
He might be. I don't know about the wife.
Do you think more so it was the fact that they up and left instead of getting murdered?
I think, like I said, I think she was probably murdered like his wife was murdered. He probably did it, or someone else did it, or he was in cahoots with the other guy to sell the business so he can go live his carny life like he wanted to. I feel like that's a massive possibility. And since if he was a spy, being a carny and a spy, I mean, that's a huge possibility because not only on top of you owning a photo shop or Photoshop, photography shop, it's not only is it a very good cover up, but if you have anybody from the military base that are coming there to get photos developed, you have information on them. Mm-hmm. Also, working at a carnival, you also can get information from specific people from listening to the conversation. Yeah. It's like a double entendre of information that you would never suspect. The photo thing is a very good cover up, and so is being a carny.
Yeah, because he was a carny in Chicago. I don't know if any
I have no idea.
bases there. There could be.
No idea.
I just don't know personally.
Well, maybe he was just getting information from the world in general. He was just there to get info from stuff.
Or he could have just got tired of being, husband and wife. He wanted to just go places.
And she wouldn't let him. She
wanted to, stick around, but you don't have to kill her or anything.
No. I mean, I guess so. No information about him was released because that's probably what the argument was. If you leave, I'm gonna tell blah 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 blah. You're gonna leave me here by myself and my cat. La 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 la. And he was like, all right, you know what? Yeah. That's it.
I'm just glad nothing happened to the cat.
Yeah, I'm glad nothing happened to the cat.
But yeah, so that's the crazy story of Margaret and William. Yeah. I would love to know what actually happened. It just sucks.
You never will. I mean, nobody ever will.
You're never gonna find out.
No. If you do end up finding out what happened, you better leave state because they will hunt you down.
If you happen to still be around.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like John List. He killed his. This was actually in New Jersey in Westville. He killed his whole family and just up and ran. And he was found, I think, I want to say like maybe 30, 40 years later.
Wow.
Living a whole nother life. Changed his name, changed his looks. And the reason why he killed him was because he couldn't hold a job. He was just not a good person. Like, it wasn't that he wasn't a good person. I mean, obviously he killed his family, but he just wasn't, like, personable. He couldn't make friends or anything. He couldn't hold a job. And instead of, like, the shame of going back home and, like, telling his family, he just killed them.
Yeah, so we wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So it's like, people can disappear. So, yeah. So, that's the story.
Yep.
We hope you guys liked it. We hope you enjoyed.
Yes.
Now we're going to do another outro.
Yeah.
Make sure
that one was just a pre-outro for the podcast.
Yeah. But make sure you go follow the podcast because it'll be kind of like a condensed version of the Twitch.
Yep.
Pretty
much. Well, yeah. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say follow us on here. We have YouTube where I post too. It's just to like make the podcast more available to more people. That's all.
You guys get the better bits after the podcast and all that. Like this is literally just normal content. It's still a podcast, but it's not the podcast. it's like the podcast after the podcast that's still a podcast.
The show after the show.
Yeah, it's the show after the show. It's the Haunted Cafe after dark.
Yeah, basically.
But
yeah. So follow us all over the place, and we'll probably see you guys next episode.
Yes, we will. Booga booga booga!
Is that a courage thing?
Yeah, it's a stupid dog. You made me look bad. Booga booga booga!
We need to go watch that because I don't remember nothing. All right, bye guys.
Bye.